All right, let's look at example 403. Probably what I would start out on this problem doing is moving both of these things to the same side. So I'm going to rewrite this first of all as cosine squared x minus 2 sine x cosine x equals 0. Now I can factor out a cosine x. We'll have cosine x times cosine x minus 2 sine x equals 0. So from here, I can set both of these things equal to 0 individually. I get cosine x equals 0. And then I'll also get cosine x minus 2 sine x equals 0. Okay, this one is easy. Cosine x equals 0. That's going to have a solution here and here. So the solutions there are pi over 2 and 3 pi over 2. Now this other one is going to be more trouble. We've got to somehow figure out what x is, and it's a bit of a problem because we've got sine and cosine. So think about this for a minute, and well, I thought about this for a minute earlier. I think the best thing to do here is to rewrite this as a tan. I'm going to move the sine. I'm going to move the 2 sine x to the other side. And now I'm going to divide both sides by cosine. So I get 1 equals 2. Sine over cosine gives me tan. So this gives me tan x equals 1/2. Now, there's definitely a solution to this, but it's not a nice number. So really all we can do here is say x is equal to inverse tan of 1/2. I'm going to put a box around that because that's one of our answers. But we got to be careful because this gives us a solution. But is it the only solution that it gives us on here? Well, no. The thing is, if tan x is 1/2, that happens, let's see. Well, tan is positive in the first and third quadrants. So that gives me some angle over here. It also gives me an angle down here with the same reference angle. So I get x is inverse tan of 1/2, and x is also inverse tan of 1/2 plus pi. So we wind up with 4 solutions here, 2 from the cosine and 2 from the tangent. Now let's look at this on Desmos. What I did on Desmos here is I graphed both sides of the equation. So in green we've got cosine squared, and in purple we've got 2 sine x cosine x. And sure enough, we got 4 solutions. Now 2 of them are nice and easy to see. Pi over 2, and here they cross at 3 pi over 2. So those are nice, and those are the 2 that we've got up here. Now these others correspond to this number and this number. So let's look at this. 0.464. That one must be it's in the first quadrant. If you think about quadrants on here, the quadrants go from 0 to pi over 2. That's the first quadrant. And from here to here is the second, and so on. So this 0.464, if I put my calculator in radian mode, and I take the inverse tan of 0.5, it gives me that value, 0.4636 and so on. So that gives me that one. And if I add pi to that, this should give me the other value. So that plus pi gives me 3.605. And if I come over here, sure enough, we get 3.605. So it's kind of nice to see the solutions show up on Desmos as well. All right, the next example is kind of long, so I'm going to put it in its own video.